when you have a watchman on the wall who avoids behaving like a watchman on the wall, you are in a church that is on the path to danger. Or if you have there at that sacred desk, the pulpit, a mute preacher, a mute dog who doesn't know how to bark, who doesn't know when it's appropriate to, doesn't know how to, he's afraid to, he cowers, he's shocked whenever he hears of other pastors making such strong warnings. If that's the case, just to the people of God, have awareness. What kind of a dog do you have in the pulpit? Now, I understand that we could spend, and your preacher could get himself distracted if he doesn't stay hemmed in here before too long. But understand this, that in our form of government, how do we get to where we're at today unless we have elected blind watchmen? How do we get to where we're at today unless we've elected amongst ourselves dogs who don't know how to bark? How do we get to this place if we continue to elect shepherds, if you will? And these are illustrative in the sense we're not looking to hire or elect a pastor to be a pastor of the state, a pastor of the nation. But understanding the application of the illustration, as long as we continue to elect shepherds who think it's all about them, we will continue to see the indictment that comes from these 4 verses of Isaiah 56. And it should surprise no one that the beast of the field, the beast of the forest will soon be unleashed and they will devour. So we think, how? I don't know how often we've said this since about February or March of this year. What's going on? Are we really even at a spot where we can really even discern yet? Are we in a good spot or are we still in a bad spot? Are we in a confusing spot? Who should we listen to and what should we listen to? And has the barkers just been yipping or are they actually warning us? And so we're sitting in somewhat of a day of a confusion of a nation. How do we get here? It didn't happen just today. It happened over a long dripping of the faucet kind of a moment. It's essentially, we've put out the notice. We only want blind watchmen to govern us. We only want mute dogs to legislate for us. We only want worthless shepherds to judicially govern or determine or express their opinions. Unless at some point God in His mercy awakens the people, they will. This is the promise of the New Testament, by the way. Let me remind you. Paul warns young Timothy, there will come a day when the people will put up with nothing but those who will simply come along and tickle their ears. In other words, there will come a day when the people will put out want ads for worthless, useless, blind, mute shepherds, dogs, and watchmen. I would say to the men, behave like godly men. I would say to the women, be holy and be careful. I would say to parents, wake up. I would say to pastors, bark. You are no community organizer. You're a preacher. Preach. I would say to my government, beware. I would say to employers and employees alike, consider the Lord today.